Hello, it's 9 p.m. in Djibouti. It's time to English New Edition, and for tonight headlines, we have opening of the annual Somali Intellectual Forum in Djibouti. For the international scene, Yellow Vests Act for the mobilizations in France. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, addressed today Saturday a congratulatory message to his Kenyan counterpart, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, whose country celebrates the anniversary of his National Day. In his message, the President of the Republic expressed his wish of health and happiness to Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, as well as more progress, development, and prosperity to the Kenyan people. The government and people of Djibouti join me in expressing their sympathy and friendship to the Kenyan nation, wrote President Guelleh, who paid a heartfelt tribute to Kenya for the many efforts being made to access the country's sustainable development. The head of state also says the opportunity of this telegram to salute the Kenyan commitment in the process of stabilizing our sub-region. Be sure, Mr. President, that you will always find in Djibouti all the help you need to strengthen the stability and economic integration of our region. President Ismail Guelleh noted in the wake of the meeting, happy birthdays that to all Kenyans. The conference hall of the People's Palace yesterday hosted the opening of the Forum of Somali Intellectual on Peace, Stability and Development on the Horn of Africa, organized jointly by the Heritage Institute of the Mogadishu and the Institute of Political Strategy Studies of CERD. These meetings were jointly sponsored by the Minister of Justice, Momin Ahmed Sheikh, the Deputy Prime Ministers of Somali, Mr. Mahdi Mohamed Guled. The event saw the participation of the Djibouti ambassador to Mogadishu, Aden Hassan Aden, the Kenyan Member of Parliament, Yusuf Hassan, and gathered on the spot more than 100 Somali intellectuals from the countries of the region, but from the diaspora, with the central theme of capitalizing on opportunity and mitigating risks for Somali in the region. This forum focuses on recent geopolitical changes in this part of the world and the opportunities that the Somali-speaking population could experience in the neighboring countries, Djibouti, Kenya, Ethiopia, and others. This conference is intended to be a platform for discussions and exploration involving researchers, intellectuals, senior policymakers, and other interested professionals from countries such as Somalia, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somaliland, Puntland, and Djibouti, wherever they come from the world of diaspora, to contribute to the analysis of the fundamental problems of the region and to the search for durable solutions. More generally, the participants of the forum must approach in a prospective way the political, economic, but also social issue relating to sustainable development and peace in the region. Finally, note that series of presentations followed by discussion, and discussions will be on the menu of this 3 days meeting, whose conclusion and recommendations are eagerly awaited by both public authorities and the international community. The Minister of Higher Education of Ethiopia said in his speech that it is important that the Somali people reach a consensus in order to move in the same directions. The Deputy Prime Ministers of Somalia also recalled in his speech that Somali has always been a unit people in their territories. And finally, Kenyan Deputy Yusuf Hassan had meanwhile stressed that Somali, regardless of their territory, should go with the geopolitical change that can Africa knows. For his part, the Minister of Justice, Momin Ahmed Sheikh, has wished the warm welcome to the guests and has indicated that this meeting of the great rulers in the Somali languages is a big heritage of our country. He stressed with the perfect ability to preserve this language. The law commissioners of the National Assembly met under the chairmanship of the Member of Parliament Ahmed Roble to discuss the draft law on the institutionalization of and daycare center in Djibouti. The member of the law commission took part in the debate, and the Minister for Women, Ms. Moumina Ahmed, and her collaborators. The bill passed on Tuesday, October 23, at the 13th sessions of the Council of Ministers, established a legal framework governing the various aspects of the care of young children in public or private structure. The project is questions also provided for the conditions and the modalities for the establishment of Kasha Daycare Center, the monitoring and control, as well as the possible sanctions in case of breaches of the rules. The discussions were intense and rich, and the members of the Commission gave a favorable opinion to the project of institutionalizing creche and daycare centers in Djibouti. A delegation of 4 young Djiboutian parliamentarians, including Ms. Hussein Abdul Qadir, Deputy, the Member of Parliament Aisha Qayad, and the Member of Parliament Aisha Mohammed Abdallah, the Member of Parliament Aisha Habib Boko, participate in Baku in Azerbaijan at the 5th World Conference of Young Parliamentarians of the UEP, which opens its doors yesterday, organized jointly by the IPU and the National Assembly of Azerbaijan. The conference that began yesterday was an opportunity for young parliamentarians to share their ideas and expertises and to come together around the shared visions to preserve the prosperity and well-being of the future generation, the protections of our planet for future generation, with the central role of young people in the protections of the environment has been widely discussed. The 5th conference will also serve as a platform for the launches of the UEP 2018 report on youth representations in national parliament. Our young parliamentarians participate in all the sessions by giving their point of view to find the best approaches to preserve our planet for the future generations they share. With the assistance of the progress accomplished in the promotions of the young men and women in the Republic of Djibouti, to the political visions of the President Gele, which gives a large place to the young people and the women in all the political, economic and social in the Republic of Djibouti, and in particular to the National Assembly. Djibouti's ambassador to Turkey, Mr. Aden Hussein Abdullahi, signed today together to the Director General of the Ministry of Finance and Treasury of Turkey, Mr. Kemal Katley Emre Khan, an additional financing agreement of 6.5 million euro relating to the constructions of the Viag Dam recall that this agreement is an amendment to the grant agreement of 11 million euros signed between the two countries in July 2016. His Excellency Aden Hussein Abdullahi thanked on behalf of the government of Djibouti, the broader government of the Republic of Turkey, for this additional financial support that will help protect the city of Djibouti against floods while safeguarding the port infrastructure of Dorale. The ambassador also outlined the state of bilateral and friendly cooperation between the two countries, highlighting the dynamism and the privileged partnership between the two countries. To this end, the two parties are currently engaged in a series of discussions aimed at achieving a medium-term economic and trade partnership agreement. For his part, the General Managers of the Ministry of Finance and Treasury, Mr. Kemal Katley Emre Khan, welcomed the existing political economic cooperation that he pledged to to spare no effort to strengthen bilateral relations and economic and trade partnership between the two states. The MINFOP General Secretary Mohammed Abdullah Mahyoub chaired the morning lunch of a validations workshop on the national school strategy. The event took place at the teacher training centers for basic education, so the participation of senior MINFOP staff and other ministerial departments, as well as partners and representatives of civil society, as well as officials of the Ministry of Education and private school. This workshop focused on the validations of the national school strategy, which is part of the development of preschools of fundamental pillars of the transformative project initiated by the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohammed Mahamoud. In an opening statement, the Secretary General, Mr. Mohammed Abdullah Mahyoub, said that the studies were carried out in the file of 4 months to implement this national preschool strategy. He added the MINFOP attaches paramount importance and huge importance to the school as the preponderant basis of our educational system. The delegation coming from Chad as a part of studies and exchanges of experience, a 5 visit to Ali Sabih and Oboh as part of studies on exchanges experience to Djibouti Agency for Social Development, organized this Tuesday, December 11 and December 12, a file trip to Ali Sabih and Oboh for the delegations came from Chad, the compound of different ministerial bodies. Thus, the delegation is first arrested at the prefectures of the city Ali Sabih, where they were greeted by the prefect. Then the delegation found a set of work to be carried out in the regional project, including the delivery of some equipment and the constructions of additional rooms. Thus, the delegation is stopped in the villages of Ali Ade, where they were warmly welcomed indeed. In the framework of this regional project, the ADDS intend to triple the capacity of solar power plant to build a college for 600 students and per whole solar power plant to double the capacity of agricultural land. In addition to the delegation stopped in a shop created by a woman to see the operations of the project for the promotion of youth employment and handicraft for the essential objectives to improve the accessibility of young people, women, with opportunities for income generation and employment through training support and financial support for the implementation of their income generating activity. Delegation from Chad at the part of studies and exchanges of experience, a 5 visit to Oboh. The next day, the delegation is first arrested at the Oboh town prefectures, where they were greeted by the prefect. Then the delegation found the setup of work to be carried out in the regional project, including the delivery of some equipment and the constructions of various infrastructure. Delegation met with all the associations supported by the IDDS in the regional councils all through the different programs. The delegations went to the CPEC of Oboh to see the functions of microfinance in Djibouti, to the concerned customers, beneficiary, and product offers. In addition to the delegation, stopped in the shop created by a man to see the operations of the project for the promotions of youth employment and handicrafts for essential objective to improve accessibility of young people and women with opportunities for income generation and employment through training support and financial support for the implementation of their income-generating activities. Finally, the delegation stopped in a home to see the functioning program Social Net focused on the employment and the foundations of human capital devices that aim to reduce malnutrition of pregnant women and lactating women of children 1 or 2 years old. ADDS aim to train beneficiaries on the importance of breastfeeding, community promotions, early childhood development in the home visit and medical follow-up of pregnant women, employment for community purpose, says works at high intensity manpower to improve the income of vulnerable households. Like the countries of the world and the context of the World Day against the pandemic of HIV/AIDS, which continues to wreak havoc, particularly in Africa, the Union for Development of and Cultures, known as UDC, in collaboration with UNICEF on Thursday evening, an awareness campaign was held at Al-Hiba. An evening of entertainment was attended by many young people. This campaign to protect our citizens from the misdeed of these pandemic scourges of this century. UDC leaders, including President Mohammed Hassan, a responsible member of the associations of local elected officials, and Al-Hiba citizens participate in the evening of awareness. This HIV/AIDS awareness campaign continued in several target community development centers in the capital as well as in this interior region. Both young and old have become aware of the danger of the HIV/AIDS during this awareness-raising campaign, animated by screening and religious sermons. We have learned with the sadness and the constance the death of Madam Adauka Ibrahim Muhammad held on Friday, December 14 at 2 p.m. at Peltier Hospital. This long-term farming fall was only the bride of the president of the appendix of Obor, Mr. Ahmed Ali Hamadou Veritas. This disappearance, the vice president of RPP, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, and the Secretary General Ilyas Musa Dawali, as well as the committee of the colleagues and chairpersons of the RPP over the territory, expressed their sincere conduct, the most attractive to his husband, his 4 children, as its family and near friendly. We pray Allah to receive his paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, France's Gilets jaunes, yellow vests, are on the street again in Paris and elsewhere for what they call the 5th act of their demonstrations against the government. Listen to the report.
France's Gilets jaunes, yellow vests, are on the street again in Paris and elsewhere for what they call the 5th act of demonstrations against the government. One of the gathering places on Saturday was the Champs-Élysées in the city center. There was a strong security force presence on the boulevard in the hope of deterring the violent clashes seen during previous protests when the brigades were mounted and cars set on fire. As well as the yellow vest, a number of so-called Marianne protesters joined the demonstration. Red-hooded and bar-breasted, Marianne is a symbol of revolutionary French Republic. The number of protesters who turned out could determine the fate of the movement 5 days after President Emmanuel Macron announced a series of tax and wage concessions in a bid to end unrest.
This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.